On the state side.
On the state side, thank you, yes.
That's a big misconception is that, everybody wants to run with the big dogs on the federal side.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how much money and dollars are tied into state contracting.
Yeah.
Last year alone, within just our three programs, we awarded over $1.5 billion to our socioeconomic programs in awards.
Hey there, and welcome to today's episode of The Diligent Leader. We have a special episode, Mission and Momentum, championing veterans and small businesses. I'm one of your hosts, Kaylee Jakovics, and with me I have Alexander Fakari, as well as Karen Herford. We have a special guest today, Danielle Davis, the Program Compliance Manager of the Governor's Office of Small, Minority, and Women Business Affairs. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say you look very pretty. I love your look. You look very queen-like. You wanna tell us what you got going on there.
Yeah, that's what they call me. So I am Maryland's first veteran-owned small business enterprise compliance manager for the state of Maryland.
Very good.
So that's fondly known as our VSBE program, and I'm known as the VSBE Queen.
Love it.
That's great.
So
I hope you wear that to work every day.
No, only bring it out on special occasions just for you guys.
Well, you look lovely.
Thank you so much.
So Danielle, that's great. But just tell us a little bit more about you, right? And your path.
Yeah, so I am a direct byproduct of the military, of the Army. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, okay.
My dad was stationed there, and then raised the rest of my life in Southern Maryland. So I always say I'm Alaska made, Maryland raised.
That's great.
I get it honestly.
That is cute.
That's great.
Yeah.
And
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
It is,
and as a Navy person, I won't shun you or make any bad
Yeah.
jokes or anything
And
like that.
for military, May is Military Appreciation
That's
Month.
right.
Yes.
So, thank you for your service,
Yeah.
both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to all
as
of
well.
the military and veterans out there as well. So,
Yes. It runs deep in my blood. We have many service members in my family, so
really?
that are not
Okay.
just Army. We have Navy. We have a few of them.
all right.
Okay.
We love
Alex
all the
is
branches
okay.
of service.
Yeah. So exactly. So you say you came to Maryland. So about how long you've been in Maryland? And how familiar are you with the ecosystem and the business world out here?
Yes, I'm also a small business owner myself, so
Okay.
believe me when I say I've sat in these seats. I know the horror stories, but I've been here since I was 8. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you know Maryland. That's
I know
fantastic.
Maryland.
That's
And
great.
working for this office is a great honor because we literally are over the entire state, and we travel from Allegheny County down to Somerset, Ocean City, and Southern Maryland is my home, so I'm always down there.
Okay, that's great. And so how long have you been in the position with Maryland? Let's talk about your actual role.
Yeah, so I am Maryland's first. I was hired in 2021. The Governor's Office of Small Minority and Women Business Affairs is an executive branch of the Governor's cabinet.
Okay.
And so we oversee 3 socioeconomic preference procurement programs for the entire state of Maryland that are across 70 plus actually state agencies and departments. So this VSBE program was enacted in 2010 and came up under GOSPA in 2018, and I was hired as the first in 2021.
That's great.
So I have a little chip on my
Ghost
shoulder.
Okay, so you guys call it Ghost, but for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
for now.
Okay,
yeah.
For now.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and let me tell for those who are watching who are not familiar. So, what we're obviously talking about is government procurement, right? And that in these categories that Danielle is referencing, their businesses can meet certain criteria. So if you're a woman-owned, you're a veteran-owned, right, or minority-owned, whatever, you have a socioeconomic status that you're eligible for. sometimes at a federal level or state level, but specifically where we're doing business here in Maryland, so we're talking about Maryland today, especially since Danielle's here. So when we talk about that, we're referencing the opportunities that are available. And, what's great is what I'm hearing is you're being able to champion not only from the state side, the programs that are available, but as an entrepreneur, right? Who has been out there, to your point, and for businesses that are eligible. Tell us what you do for them. So if you have these businesses that, let's say, some of the people watching might meet some of these, where can they find them? And then tell us what you do to help them.
Yes. So we have 3 programs. So obviously I'm over the VSBE program. We have also a minority business enterprise or MBE program, and we have a certified small business programs, or what we call SBR for short, a small business reserve. So businesses that are eligible for all 3, for 1, for 2, how many? They're certifications like tools in your toolbox. They're free. Only thing that's going to take you is a little bit of your time. Yeah. But really the benefit of these certifications are to leverage them within the state of Maryland. There are certain set-asides, designations, as well as goals that are placed on every eligible contract within the state of Maryland.
And that could be for multiple departments, right? It could be anywhere, any government agency, whether it be the Department of Transportation or, any organization, Veterans Affairs, like all of those are agencies that would be looking to meet some sort of set-aside goal. Right?
On the state side. So,
on the state side, thank you.
That's a big misconception is that everybody wants to run with the big dogs on the federal side, and they don't understand how much money and dollars are tied into state contracting. Last year alone, within just our 3 programs, we awarded over $1.5 billion to our socioeconomic programs in awards for contracting.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Do you feel like most people are aware of these programs?
Not at all.
Okay, so how are you communicating that? Marketing and what do you guys
Podcasts.
Okay, great way to highlight your programs, resources.
It's definitely a labor of love. It's a lot of hats to wear, but within, I kind of call it like a 4-legged stool. So we have both internal and external stakeholders. We have a huge outreach and communications component. And it also takes the input of our VSBE advisory committee, which Mr. Alex sits on, to really push legislation. And we have veteran senators and delegates, and our Maryland Chief Procurement Officer is a veteran. So really having the buy-in, not only just from the public, but internally as well, to get the word out, to host events, to complete trainings. We do trainings across the entire state of Maryland, both virtually and in person. So it's a big undertaking. We're excited for the things that are coming up that we get to celebrate, because our hard work is paying off. Last fiscal year, we awarded $124 million to VSBEs So that fiscal year that was a 249% increase from the prior year. So the word is getting out, and we have a very robust entrepreneurship and small business climate here within the state of Maryland. We have over 50,000 veteran small business owners that are here in the state. In addition to all of the military installations that are here, and once they're serving on active duty and they want to retire and come out as a civilian, most of them don't want to work for another person.
This is true.
They want to start their own business.
Well, and what I think you're probably one of your challenges is you're not only just trying to help make sure veterans are aware of your program, right? But you also need to make sure all businesses know about it, right?
All.
Because if they're a prime or they're, if they're doing any work with the state, they're going to have goals to meet, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, I know I've been both a prime and a subcontractor, and those things are critical. And so whether you are the veteran or you're looking to work with a veteran, or
Some type of partnering program.
Correct. I think it's there. So
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about your experience as a VSBE?
Yeah. Everybody makes their fair share of mistakes, and I can tell you when I first started, it started out for me with SDVOSB status, which was given out by the VA back in the day.
Federal, yeah.
And for those that don't know what STVSB is,
service disabled, veteran-owned small business.
Thank
you very much. Very
Just
much
in
like
case
a
for the
veteran-owned
audience.
small business, but the service disabled is just a variant of that. But the idea was I had it when it was really self-designated back in the day.
Yep.
Then it became like, okay, everybody, here's your actual certification you had to go through, and then we followed suit with that. But it was really at the state level where I saw the benefit, to be honest with you. So I filled out a $15 online certificate to say I was a veteran business, and that $15 turned into millions of dollars several times over. And it was because I said I'm a veteran-owned small business in Maryland. I had a big prime who had a big, massive contract with the state with transportation, and they're like, come on in and help us since you're a veteran and you're a subject matter expert and you do work. It's not just a free ticket, but you do all these things. Join us. So we did. And then I was really excited because Maryland had their VSBE program. And because of that, I had even recently, just last fiscal year, we even won like a $4 million contract. And so, that's
some money.
That's tangible, right? That's right
is.
there.
Yeah. And it's not just getting that, VSBE. There's a lot of work that goes behind it, but having that opportunity to even put our, hat in the ring is a huge opportunity.
Well, and the governor definitely made it, a point to say we want more small businesses, veteran-owned businesses, to participate. And the contracts are structured that way now too, in the Small Business Reserve, and that's really important that people know that, because that's how you get in the door sometimes. I mean, you have to be able to do the work. You have to have the experience. It's not, like I said, it takes a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's been a great experience for me. And what I find rewarding is not only going after the contract and getting the contract, but I love doing what I do. So, I mean, all the checks that come along with that are great. They keep BGE happy, right? But at the end of the day, what I really love is working on what I'm passionate about, right? And then working with other veterans or other businesses. And I've met a lot of great veterans just through the program, and people I run in other circles with. They're in the same group, right?
Yeah.
The veteran community is very strong.
Very strong and helpful, and
it's a huge networking opportunity as well.
It is.
And you know what they say, your net worth is your net worth.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Hey,
I love that quote. Before we get too far into talking more about programs and things that you have coming up, I really want to understand. You're a leader. I feel like your whole office it's great leaders. It's diligent leaders, right?
Yes.
Because you guys are so passionate, and there's purpose behind everything that you're doing. Like, how did you get into this, or what really fuels your passion for helping small minority businesses?
That's definitely a loaded question.
As it should have been.
So yes, from the top down, in terms of leadership, we have a great governor. We have a great special secretary, Maria Martinez, who is still a small business owner herself. And so for me, I always saw entrepreneurship growing up. It started with my older sister. We were making beaded jewelry, and so my dad opened a church. So regardless of whether it was on the for-profit or the nonprofit side, I feel like I've always seen entrepreneurship, but I didn't always know the right steps and the right direction in order to be successful. And so that really fueled my passion when I started working with first-generation students at my alma mater at Bowie State University, helping them get financial aid. So really that hand-holding, that one-on-one service, and then now coming into this role as I have been a small business owner for several years now. And so I have understanding that leadership and my military upbringing, you have to be on top of everything. You have to prioritize. You have so many things going on, even as an adult, right? We have to manage all these different hats. So my worlds really did collide with getting this job. I really feel like it was, the stars aligned that I am living in my purpose,
That's beautiful.
really helping people, because I've been doing that for the past 20 years. And so my why is really my veteran small business owners. They fuel, y'all fuel me.
That's your baby.
They are. I call them my babies. I'm like, whatever I can do to be of assistance. I think a great leader is someone who leads by example. First and foremost.
Absolutely.
And you can't really encourage others unless you are yourself, walking in their footsteps. So really being relatable and just letting them know that, hey, even if we have to figure this out together, there was no blueprint when I started this. So we are literally having to build the program. And then my real title is a compliance manager. So then I am building another leg of this in terms of the compliance. So it's multifaceted, and you also have to be creative to really be successful in any space. It's not just about dotting all your...
A lot of critical thinking.
Crossing your T's, dotting your I's.
Yeah, it's not always just... You got to be open-minded.
Right.
Pivot, especially as a business owner. If COVID didn't teach us anything, you have to have multiple streams of income.
Diversification.
You have to, you got to dibble and dabble in a lot of, not just maybe public markets and private markets, but just all different types of things.
Sure.
And get creative.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Certainly hear the passion,
I know.
that's for sure. Talk to us a little bit more about your office's mission.
Yeah, so that's another, we do a lot. We do a lot. So internally, I kind of talked earlier about internal and external stakeholders. So if I can just break that down for a minute. Internally, we partner with procurement units across the state to ensure that the laws and the regulations related to the small business programs are being followed.
Right.
And that's critical because these laws were put in place for a reason. Like I said, the VSBE program was enacted from the General Assembly back in 2010. So we're not talking about things that are just, occurring in this current climate. These things have... Our MBE program is over 45 years old, so it has withstood some time.
I bet, yeah.
And it's really our job to make sure that this is also developing new regulations, really structuring policy, procedure, implementing best practices. There's a lot of new procurement officers and things of that nature, so when they come into the fold, we want to make sure that they're trained. We want to make sure that they understand how to do their job, which is outlined in our COMAR, our Code of Maryland Regulations. And then we also monitor performance. So there's a lot of data. We have a data-driven governor. So there are a lot of KPIs or key performance initiatives that we track. From our state agencies and departments. We have an annual report, so we're responsible of gathering all this data and providing an annual report so that you can see how well these 70-plus state agencies and departments are meeting those goals on state contracts and how much dollars that they're actually spending to these programs. Now, externally, we offer a wide range of help for our small business community. That includes webinars, like I said, in-person events. I started a pilot program last year, and we implemented it this year where we're going around to 12 different counties. In 2025, it's our in-person certification workshops where we also bring out local city and or county resources and procurement agencies so that businesses, when they get to us, they already have gotten some past performance. They already understand the language, and that they're understanding that there are a lot of local resources as well as state resources. And so we do that every month and really go around. We've been to Charles County, Anne Arundel County, Montgomery County, Frederick, and then this in May will be in Baltimore City. So really just, like I said, we're around the entire state. And then we have trainings. Our website is a plethora of a wealth of information.
Right.
We have pre-recorded trainings that are called from our TIPS, which is TIPS is Insight for State Procurement.
Okay. Right.
And then we go over pricing strategies, how to leverage your certifications. We go into the anatomy of a bid. So a lot of people don't understand when they're looking at a solicitation, which is how the announcement goes out, right? So a contract is once it's awarded. Everything prior to that is a solicitation, and really understanding and breaking down the different components of a bid, as well as really understanding all the different programs, the ins and outs. You're having your bail team, that's your banker, your accountant, your insurance, and a lawyer. You can speak. I know you can speak to that.
And let me tell you, just from the understanding and taking the opportunity to go to those courses. I mean, if you haven't done it yet, or you have done it, you can relate very well, is when you go after a bid like this, there's so many moving components.
Yeah.
You have to know the opportunity. You have to go do your research. You have to make sure that you respond in the right tone. Do you understand the context? Because you're being judged based upon the quality of your response. So if you don't know the topic, that's already an obstacle. Then you mix in not knowing what to respond to, or what section to read, or the mechanics of the different elements.
Yeah.
You're not going to win, and you're going to invest, like you said, I think just earlier, you invest so much into going after a bid, whether it be federal or state. And I think you always should work from your your home office. That definitely, there's a lot of opportunities lying around there. But the point is, there's so much involved with it. Like, if you don't know the mechanics of it, doesn't matter how well your response is. If you're missing key elements, you're not going to. You're going to have a harder time winning.
We definitely tell our small businesses, take it step by step. Don't get overwhelmed. Take what you can chew and digest that, because it can get so overwhelming.
It can.
But we are here. We're here to help. We're here to help provide resources so that it doesn't seem such as a daunting task.
Yeah, and I think people should understand that this is a long process. Learning, doing state procurement. You can start. And I can tell you, even today, we've lost count of how many RFPs we've written, responses we provided as a sub.
I haven't.
We've submitted a lot. There's tons of times and hours that you put into it, and you're always learning. And I think that's the takeaway I want somebody to think about is, it's never, set it and forget it and you're done. You have to continue to learn because they change.
Practice makes perfect. I can tell you that.
It really does.
Yeah.
Well, and to speak, you said an RFP, which is a request for proposal. Now that is the monster, right?
Right.
That's everything
Right.
from the Rudy to the Tootie is
That's
what
right,
we
that's
say.
right.
But an invitation to bid, the IFBs are a little bit easier.
Not
So
as-
for some
yeah, not as bad.
newbies that are trying to, if you have past performance, an invitation to bid is a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
Have you guys tried to do any of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've definitely.
Yeah, we've responded to RFIs. We've started,
Invitations to bid. Yeah,
RF
those are much
the
easier.
RFIs are-
They're not as long,
Yeah,
for
but-
sure.
But yeah, that's a good point. But again,
but yeah.
it's knowing the nomenclature. We're throwing out some acronyms, and they're, but
People may not
at the end of
understand.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
there are. I think attending some of these courses, checking out, especially if it's online. I mean,
You
Yeah,
learn
you
so
do.
much with the
Right there.
courses.
Just
It's crazy.
go
so.
watch. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, we speak a different language than the federal government, so it is good to know that, if you're doing a capability statement, which is your business resume for the state, that you're really honing in on what our language is and
Yes.
not the feds as
Huge.
SDVOSB. No, you want to use VSBE and get certified with that. So,
Yeah.
two different landscapes.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it's a quite rewarding in many ways. Like, I mean, you gain stability for your organization. You increase your reputation. You become those subject matter experts, which is the term we use for somebody who's an expert at what they do. Subject matter expert, or SME, is another way that people read it. But there's a lot that goes along with it. But you do get the great rewards, and again, you get to stay home and versus traveling over to California or Colorado, wherever you know.
Well, we definitely want to impact our community and
Yes.
our economy. So, yes, these are, we don't necessarily have a Maryland preference program for Maryland businesses. We are in this wonderful DMV area, so we don't limit the businesses to that are just here in Maryland to get certified. So we do. Any business can get certified with our programs.
Sure.
But yes, we do want to see the impact here in Maryland. The work is here in Maryland.
Speaking of work, I have to ask you a question. I'd love to, and this is a little just one I'm going to throw at you. And if you can't answer it perfectly, that's fine. But
Okay.
the idea is you see a lot of businesses and, you're creating programs. Where do you see is there a particular vertical or industry that is not being represented well by service-disabled veterans? I mean, you probably see veterans in like an abundance of them in one category versus another.
IT is definitely the more abundant.
Okay, great. IT has a lot.
There are so many different layers in IT, though, right? You have software, you have hardware, you have the service component. And we have VSBEs from every different facets. We have tequila, rum. We have
Change my line of work.
we have a VSBE that makes lapel pens. Just all different types of products and services within here in the state of Maryland. I don't know if there's one that's not saturated enough. I will say that everybody, coming out of the military has the skills, the tenacity, and the leadership generally to have some type of consulting business. So consulting is a high-ranking one in addition to IT. A lot of fields within the construction, so your HVAC, your electrical, mechanic, maintenance, all of those things are also high dollar value that our Department of General Services, which is one of our top 5 state agencies, highly seeks those in solicitations. So if you're willing to do the work, roll up your sleeves, because there's contracts out here to be won.
All right, so going back to VSBE, I know you have some exciting news to share, some milestones. We'd love to hear.
A lot going on. So May is, as we stated earlier, both Military Appreciation Month, but May is also National Small Business Month.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I generally combine the two and have or host or help with collaborating partners. This is not just myself, so thank you to our sponsors. So we host several events throughout the year, but specifically in May, we do a Military Small Business Appreciation Breakfast. That's going to be held at Camden Yards this year.
Oh, wow, nice.
All right.
So, and the reason being is because this year is really special. We will be celebrating over 1,000 certified VSBEs in our database.
Wow.
That's great.
When I first started, it was about 200.
Oh,
a little
wow.
over
Oh,
200.
good for you.
Good
Wow.
job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Yes.
So
Milestone.
it is.
Yes.
It is. So we're a lot of hard work and dedication within these past 3.5 years, as well as my team. I can sit up here and be the queen, but at the end of the day, the VSBE Advisory Committee, as well as all of the outreach that we do, we are busy. Like every week, we are out here in these streets. Also, there's a lot going on. This past legislative session was unique for us. So we had some legislation pass. And so at the start of the 2025 legislative session, Governor Moore laid out 3 specific core objectives to navigate what's going on in the the landscape of our world right now. And so the first one was to modernize the tax code and give middle class families tax relief.
Okay.
So that is coming down the pipeline. Also, to grow our economy and diversify our economy, which includes the small business community, and then to invest in our people.
Great.
So with all of this said, we did have a legislative update as well that was passed, which is a procurement modernization bill. So we'll see some updates and streamlining. And then
Excited for that.
Yeah. And then the biggest thing when I tell you this VSBE advisory committee fuels this legislation. So when I first started, it was brought to my attention that our veteran state definition for this program was very outdated. So our current definition states that a veteran is one that has served in the armed forces, other than for training purposes, so other than for
Right.
active duty or boot camp, and then was released other than dishonorable. So what we're doing and what is going to be passed and effective October 1 is that the definition of armed forces, which only right now includes 5 of the military branches,
Okay.
which is Army, Navy, Air Force,
Coast Guard?
no, not
Not
Coast
Coast
Guard,
Coast Guard,
No.
okay.
Marines, and Space Force.
Oh, Space Force, of course, yep.
Is now going to extend to uniformed services, which will now then
Good.
include
Coast
Coast Guard, reservist, and NOAA. So we'll be able to expand this definition and allow more veterans
Good,
of
yeah.
all
Wow,
different
that's great.
to really be able to get into the program. So not only are we hitting a benchmark, but then come
Yeah.
October, I know that the floodgates are going to open.
So
because
next year we have you back on, it'll be 2,000.
Hey, I'm here for
will,
that.
yeah.
The limit.
Yeah, because we've had to deny several applications within the past 3-4 years of reservist, just and Coast Guard. So
Right.
I'm super excited about that.
That is exciting. Congratulations.
Well done.
I can't. I promise I can't take all the credit. The VSBE Advisory Committee is a champion in that, as well as legislation, and that's why we push legislation so hard, and why it's so important, because we really want to be as inclusive as possible, and really just opening up the doors for the change of times,
Yeah,
right?
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's good. It's time. I've heard everything from the business model of how RFPs are written. You hear from other organizations that they really would love to see a better way these are written and making sure they're current. And so I think that's fantastic timing. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's great.
You had a little hand in that.
Yeah, little.
All right, so some exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
We do have a few minutes left, so I want to hear whether you want to share about some VSBE stories, success stories. I know Alex kind of touched on
We
that.
have to
or if
hear
there's
about
others.
Mojo. What Mojo's doing. I always want to say Mojo Jojo
Yeah,
when I say
know,
her
I
name.
know.
Mojo Jojo. The Mojo Jojo
as one of because of the great work that you are on our VSBE Advisory Committee, we are honoring this year our VSBE Advisory Committee at our up and coming May event.
Great.
But I would love for the people to hear your story of some of the great things within state contracting, specific to some of you haven't really talked about what you do. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear what Mojo does.
Sure.
And what are some of the projects that you're up to?
Yeah, so Mojo is people. The quick thing is called like a marketing agency. That can be the quick thing to say. But what we really are is we develop solutions that bridge the gap between marketing and operations. So every point along a customer's journey, whether your customer be a business or a consumer shopping for B2C products. websites, mobile applications, the videography, the
Anything
the storytelling,
design.
anything the design-based branding, that we create that consistency and frequency of your messaging across all platforms. So from cradle to grave, once you meet that customer, they stumble upon your brand to the time they're talking about it with their friends. It's that whole life cycle that we develop, and so we kind of fall in that IT category you were talking about. And we've been in business now 20 years, just a little over 20 years.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
That's a huge milestone.
Yeah, we were very appreciative of the opportunities we've been given, and I will say, 99% of our growth and opportunities have been here in Maryland, right?
amazing
and it's
to
been
hear.
wonderful. And so today, we're providing services all over the spectrum, size of organizations, but we're definitely doing a lot of great opportunities right now with one of our recent awards with the Maryland Department of Tourism, which is fantastic, and we're doing so much great work where what you think about an opportunity opens up so many more opportunities.
Yes,
And
I've heard that.
and what I really find is, it's the relationships that have really kind of helped fostered our success, and the hard work and the diligence, but I can tell you, for us, we continue to look for, we look at state contracts first, for us. I mean, sure, the federal opportunities pop up every once in a while, but where we know we can make an impact, we have the past performance, we know the lay of the land, we know we can make an impact in these communities here.
You are. You're not
is
just
in Maryland.
doing. You
Yeah.
are making an impact.
Well, thank you. But that's where we think we should prioritize. So Kaylee and Karen and I, we always talk about where we're going to be and where we're focused on, and if we can find new partners. People who subcontract, other veteran organizations, women-owned organizations, we bring them into our contracts as well, because we think it's our duty, because everybody has the best intentions, but nobody was really there, and I think you can relate, to lead the way and be a mentor towards us. Those opportunities weren't there, and so we kind of pick a couple companies here and there where we complement them, they complement us, and it makes sense to mentor them, and not it's something that I think it's good for all of us, because it helps us grow, helps them grow, and and again, we're also meeting the mission of the state as well as ourselves. So, we take state contracting very seriously.
Can you talk about can you give you don't have to be too specific, but the little nugget about the state contract with the AI, the customer journey, what we're doing there?
Yeah, well, just a little bit, from the sense of
Just a teaser.
smidgen.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're looking at every way to, when a customer goes to a site, to say, how can we provide personal experience at scale at a state with a growing population and growing attendance and growing engagement? It's hard. You can't just, the population is growing all the time. And so how can you maintain that proficiency? So it is looking at things such as AI, and it is implementing new technology that will serve the mission, provide efficiency. It's not going to be cost prohibitive for the state. It's not going to lock them into some big contract for 50 years, and then but it's we're thinking dynamically on how we can serve, and that's what we've been doing. And there's a lot of good stuff coming out of that. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
I'm so excited about your growth and your journey. Anytime that I can talk about you, I'm like, he's done Game of Thrones stuff. And, I mean, you literally have been so creative.
Yeah, we've worked with great agencies and great partnering companies that, we've done a lot of work with the Maryland Lottery. We've done Maryland Tourism. We've, exactly. We've reached all over the state, but it's through those relationships that if we didn't take it seriously about our VSBE status,
It's the
we wouldn't have the
relationships
opportunities.
and the programs that your team offers that has helped make us successful. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Honestly, creating opportunity is so important because if you don't know that these programs exist, you don't know how to get involved,
Right.
You don't know how to get certified. So I want to just quickly add that our certification process is a 3-step, completely electronic process. When I first started, veterans were mailing in their DD-214s during COVID. We have been able to completely digitalize this process now, and vendors can get certified within 2 business days, which is unheard of, even
Yes.
when you're comparing to the federal landscape, which takes weeks, sometimes months.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to at least let the people know that these veteran small business owners get certified because representation matters.
Yeah.
And not just in our program or my program, but if you can qualify for the other programs as well, to definitely leverage, utilize the resources, utilize the certifications, because as you said, they're here to help. They're here to be tools. They're here to help network. We help facilitate all different types of opportunities, mixer events where prime and subs are trying to find each other. I thank you so much for hiring other veteran and
absolutely.
working with other veteran businesses, because it does take us to sometimes mentor and pull someone up and show them the way, because that's what a great leader does, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I just want to say one small thing. I want to go back to what you're saying, but to the point about the process of becoming a VSB in Maryland, I can personally attest that it is not easy and lack of value. It is easy and it's streamlined and efficient, and getting registered with state was so welcoming, because I mean the federal one, it is
very
honestly
daunting.
very daunting,
not fun.
and it's not always the primary thing people look for. You're doing business with the state, they want state certification, and it is so nice and rewarding to come to the state of Maryland where I reside and know that I'm welcomed, and that here's your process, we're going to make it easy for you. So that's huge. So if you are a veteran-owned business,
I got you.
Yeah, she's
Call
got
me,
you. Go
email me. I promise. I'll walk you through the process.
Yeah, that's right.
And we'll share that with our audience. And I guess if they're wanting to learn more, just go to what is the website or any resources or places that they should go.
Definitely our website. Our website is MD small biz biz .maryland spelled out .gov. At the very top, there are tabs for all of the different programs. Also, follow us on LinkedIn, and they can connect with me. I'm sure we'll provide my contact information.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, we're here to help. We're here to support. We're here to help you through the process and let you know what resources are available. So, everything from capital to really making sure that you have a great foundation, because startup is fine.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of different ways to start up, but we want to make sure that you know how to do business here within the state of Maryland and be successful.
Yeah. And can I ask, for those people who let's say they're not a veteran, but they're minority owned, women owned, can they reach out to, can you redirect them, or can you always put them in touch with anybody as
Most
well?
definitely, yes.
All right,
of
but we want
course.
those
Perfect.
veterans. Come on, veterans.
Yeah.
You got to step up.
And we know, according to the Small Business Administration, 45% of veterans are more likely to start their own business.
Really?
So
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
the percentage is very high.
Wow.
So we want to
love
start
that.
putting that into that entrepreneurship spirit out into the
Nice.
universe, and let them know that yes, this is a space for
great.
them.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
much for
joining.
having me.
Appreciate
Yeah.
your service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode of The Diligent Leader. Thank you, Danielle, and the governor's office, and we're looking so much forward to having you watch more episodes. And please look down in the descriptions below. We'll provide all of Danielle's information, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Diligent Leader.